the way revering God is structured, I covered, it's an acrostic. I love me a good acrostic. It's a good biblical structure. Psalm 119, the whole thing is an acrostic. So revere stands for R, the reliability of God, E, the enjoyability of God, and on down the line. So in the reliability of God, um, I highlight the fact that I use the example of one of my favorite atheists, a guy named Albert Camus. And I've been corrected by many a Frenchman on when I used to say, "Have you read Albert Camus?" They're like, "No, no, no, Albert Camus."
Camus.
Camus was a atheist celebrity in the middle of the 20th century. Readers might have had to read The Stranger in high school, or The Plague, or Myth of Sisyphus, and he reached the conclusion that because there's no God, the universe is silent, and therefore our existence is absurd, says Camus. Well, I detail in the book how he met a pastor by the name of Howard Mumma. They met in Paris at Notre Dame Cathedral and struck up a friendship that lasted about 5 years, where Camus would sometimes fly to New York to meet with Pastor Mumma. Mumma would fly to Paris to meet with Camus. And they would just open the scriptures together. And over time, Camus came to realize that even though the universe is silent, the God who made the universe is not silent. One of my apologetics heroes is Francis Schaeffer, and he wrote a brilliant book called God is There and He is Not Silent. And so Camus came to the realization that, when we shout, "Why are we here?" to the cosmos, the answer is crickets. But when we open up scripture, God answers. We are here to glorify and enjoy him forever. And so towards the end of his life, Camus asked Mumma if he could be baptized, which was a big deal. This is a atheist international celebrity. He just had one condition. It's got to be behind closed doors. I want it private.
Mm.
I don't want paparazzi hiding in the bushes. I don't want, atheist protesters or anything like that. Can we do a behind closed door sort of secret baptism? And some of the listeners will instantly spot the problem. Baptism, by its definition, is a public sacrament. A private baptism is an oxymoron like jumbo shrimp or crash landing or soft rock. There's really no such thing. And so Camus asked Mumma, he said, "I'll consider it. I'll consider doing a public baptism." And Mumma dropped him off at the airport in New York. Camus turns around and says, "Pray for me, brother, that I keep the faith." That I keep the faith. Not that I find it, but that I keep it. So evidently, just the power of Scripture and the authority of a God who knows and who knows perfectly and reveals to us, turned the light bulb on for Camus. And sadly, he died in a car crash the following month in Paris. And so to answer your question, why is it so important that God doesn't learn, that God is omniscient, that he knows all, is that without an omniscient being, without a reliable God, without a trustworthy being, we're trapped in Camus' silent universe. And so our authority for truth is going to be my fleeting emotions or your fleeting emotions, or what some totalitarian regime tells us we have to believe or face the firing squad, or we're going to be set adrift, utterly lost when it comes to the most pressing existential questions. So the fact that God isn't sort of in process figuring things out, the fact that God isn't backpacking Europe trying to find who he is and what life is about, the fact that he speaks truly, definitively, authoritatively, and in a trustworthy way, gives us a rock solid foundation to stand on, and saves us from the silent universe that Camus found freedom from.
Yeah, so good.